Okay, couple notes. Steve and Jaxon, when you hit the table, it's so loud on this thing.
Okay.
So just try to keep it in mind. Get the hits out.
It is girl.
Crack the dishes, crack the plates. That's what Bilbo Baggins hates. That's what Bilbo Baggins hates. So carefully with those plates.
Hey, everybody! What's up, guys?
I didn't understand that last one at all, but The Hobbit.
You got the Hobbit.
That made me dizzy.
That was a great little intro, everybody. We're about to get nostalgic.
Yeah.
We're about to get
nostalgia.
a little critical, okay? We might even get to some heated debates here on the ReactCAST.
Setting us up.
You trying to get me angry?
I might.
You won't like me when I'm angry.
You won't like me when I'm angry.
We'll see.
Not
we'll
a
see.
bit.
We're talking about movie remakes versus their originals, okay?
Okay.
Oh boy.
We got Joe Bereta here
Hi.
today.
Thanks
You've
for
been here
having me.
before. Jaxon, this is your second time on the pod. It's been a bit, though.
It has.
It's nice to have you back here.
Thank you, Steve.
This is not your,
Two times is nice.
your
It's
second
nice.
podcast ever? Or
I've done a couple podcasts.
Yes.
You like that
Pro.
format? You like that podcast format?
I do. I'm used to streaming, so I'm used to talking to a blank wall.
Yeah.
So
You
it's
know?
better to have other people to talk to.
Yes.
streaming's a
very much so.
nightmare.
It is. It really is.
It drains your energy so hard.
yeah.
I was streaming and I got to like the 3-hour mark and I was like, this is crazy. Like 3 hours went by so fast.
Yeah.
There was a study that came out that 3 hours that you put out there to the world actually took 7 years off your life.
Gonna kill the audio for everything.
The one thing you told us not to do, we're doing over and over again.
That was dumb.
You have to tell it. You can't tell us that.
Okay. Forget it.
I think you're
Forget it, Steve.
But there's the respectful part of your brain that's like the man who's over there,
Right.
Who's obviously controlling
Trying to.
this show, who's running this program, has asked us not to do something.
Yeah.
But there's that trickster part of your brain that's like, oh, but it's so funny, isn't it? Oh, it makes me feel so good. Oh, it makes me. That's right. Who's it? And Elizabeth loves it. You know, Macho Man Randy
Yes.
Savage would talk about his wife Elizabeth.
That other voice that you're hearing, it's a special guest we have today who has a deep passion and maybe like it's inappropriate sometimes. Your love for
Yes.
movies. It's Steve Zaragoza,
It's an
everybody.
illness.
Give a little clap here.
Thank you.
I'm so
Oh.
happy we finally got you on,
Me
Steve.
too, man. And I love being here with Joe, my
Yes.
old friend, my old good friend I love very much.
Joe, Steve, and I go way back. So
Yes, we do.
We have a little podcast history.
We went to prison. We met in prison.
Meet in prison.
Yeah, dude.
Kiss?
We
yeah,
did
more
more
than
than that, my
this.
friend.
Many times.
More than that. See how deep my
Kisses was our currency, and
Yes,
we
it
were
was.
rich.
oh yes, we were not poor.
Guys, I got a whole list of movie remakes, okay? Ghostbusters, Dune, many, many more. And I want to get into the heart of what made some of these crash and burn and what maybe remakes were better than the originals. Do you think that can exist?
Yes.
Of course.
Yeah, it's rare, but
Very.
it does exist.
I feel like the past 20 years is when this totally went full steam, full throttle, where every single movie that's coming out feels like it's either a remake or a sequel to
or
something.
it has to be.
Or it has
Yes.
to be.
Yes. Yes.
Because these studios are a little more afraid to take chances with weird concepts. And,
Yeah.
Like,
Definitely.
I was thinking about Beetlejuice, which just recently
came
got
out.
another
Yeah.
one. Wouldn't say it's a remake, but it is a sequel.
Continuation.
And you're just like, the original Beetlejuice concept is so bizarre that you're like,
And
how
original.
could they greenlight this?
Yep.
Yeah, like why would they greenlight it? And it's because it was probably really cheap at the time to greenlight it. And you had Michael Keaton, who was kind of like a rising star.
Rising star, rising director. Yeah.
Tim Burton, which Tim Burton is on a lot of remakes. He's done a lot of remakes here.
He
Yes, he
does. He
has.
loves
Yeah, he
those
loves them.
remakes.
And also, to be fair, if we're really getting into it, back then, I would contend that the movie industry still didn't know what its formula was.
Yes.
Like
That's
big,
true.
big
The 80s.
blockbusters and how to make money and what it eventually became in the 90s, summer blockbusters and whatnot, holiday movies. they hadn't figured out that formula, so I think they were a little bit more free to be experimental still and try some stuff.
And unfortunately, because you mentioned earlier nostalgia, we were talking about nostalgia.
It's a big thing.
That's where the money is, I guess. You know, and it's like, and all these mashups. Like, did you guys see Coca-Cola Oreos?
Yeah.
It's like, what are we doing here?
I think there's not only Coca-Cola Oreos, but Oreo flavored Coke as well.
There is.
We're already way too far into this,
I'm
but
sorry.
It's okay. We have to do a theme song.
Oh,
Joe.
yeah. We talked
We have to do it. Nope.
And then I said, oh, just like witches
we're not wiping our
asses.
Steve, I asked you to bring a special instrument.
I ask you.
I asked you to bring this instrument.
Yeah, you
and
did.
you did it.
I
It's
did.
sitting right there in the back.
Yeah, it's right over there.
I would love.
Secret guitar.
I would love for Steve.
Uh-oh.
Your guitar player.
Yeah, I like to play.
Can we get a little live guitar song so that Joe can accompany it?
Okay.
Would you, Joe?
With some
Does that
theme
sound
song
like a
action.
fun?
I'm here. I'm in
And
for
please
it.
feel free to include. I mean,
Absolutely.
Yes.
everyone's in part of this.
Yeah.
Even you, Kevin. You want me to go grab that thing?
Don't you?
Please,
don't
dude.
you? Don't you?
Don't you?
How dare you?
It's a tiny guitar.
This is the Ed Sheeran Martin.
It is a little baby. I love
It
it.
is a little guy, and it's a travel guitar.
Yeah, it's tiny little boy.
And she is a petite, but she's got it where it counts. The sound
love
is
it.
big, make no mistake.
Okay.
All right, ready?
Go for it. Oh, yeah. Yeah.
Just sitting here with our friends. Gonna talk some movies. We like all the things that we see on the screen. We like
No one
everything.
tune this. No one
What?
tune this.
No,
No one tune
oh, goddamn it. Okay, back to
And we're back.
Okay, we're back. Okay, here we go. Grab your popcorn, grab your Coke, cause ReactCAST ain't no joke. Get over here and take a seat, because we talking movies and it's gonna be real neat. We're talking movies. We're talking stuff. We're talking movies. Can't get enough. Drama, sci-fi, comedy. We don't care what we watch. Put it on the screen, put it on the TV, just put it in a box. Open it up, see what's inside. Movie time, let's take a ride. We're watching movies. On ReactCAST. We're watching movies. On ReactCAST. Woo! Yeah!
Wow.
That was good.
Incredible.
We did it.
Right?
No, it was great,
We
Steve.
loved it.
You got the applause if you had your headphones on.
Yeah,
I didn't hear it.
know.
we got the applause. It was great. It was great. Great accompaniment.
Absolutely.
Double high fives.
The amazing
job,
guitar
everybody.
player.
Yeah, dude. You guys did great.
Yeah.
All right, let's jump into it, guys. I'm ready for it. I feel like, and we kind of touched on it a little bit, if there's a movie that's going to get announced and it's a sequel or a reboot, everybody's initial reaction is like,
Yeah.
why?
Yeah, it kind of depends on what it is, I guess.
So that's what I'm curious. What is a movie that comes to mind when you think of it and it was a remake that you're like, wow, that sucks that was a
The
remake?
Crow.
The Crow.
Starting off strong.
Yeah.
And modern.
The Crow.
Very recent.
The Crow was so bad.
You
saw
watched it?
Didn't need to. The Crow was so bad that he was getting flamed by the original director the whole time.
No.
Publicly.
Wait, what?
Constantly. On Twitter, it was from trailer drop from announcement to trailer drop to it tanking in the theaters. He was trolling them
No
the
way.
whole time.
Oh
I don't think I saw
gosh.
any marketing for that movie.
I know. They
There was
really
barely
like,
any.
I think they were like, word of mouth is going to get around on this guy. We're going to get people interested in The Crow. And, we love that Skarsgård
I was going to
guy.
say, yeah.
Big fan of this guy.
Big fan of that Skarsgård guy.
I saw him in that one, that hit thing.
That's right. When
Yes.
his eyes are like, whoa, whoa. And there's that
Ones
scene
are
where-
going this way,
You know?
and the others are going that way.
And he had an affinity for children for some reason.
I would say that's a good or bad thing to each his own. But but creepy, right? Like creepy, good creepy, and he's blink and you'll miss it. You know,
I don't think I ever saw him blink.
I never saw him blink once.
You know,
but I did. We watched The Crow,
The original,
the new one.
Oh, the new one.
But we skipped around a lot.
Okay.
we just talked about an amazing one though. It was a remake.
Yes,
Yeah,
that was
a
on my
great
list.
remake.
And it was so good.
And way better than the original
100%. But the original's what made for TV movie, but iconic performance.
because Tim Curry.
Yes.
I would say though that the Bill Skarsgård clown is better than Tim Curry.
Oh yeah,
Different.
Oh,
I think it's better. Though.
He talks like this. It's kind of weird. His voice is like that for most of the movie.
True.
Too, Georgie.
And
Yeah.
Tim Curry's like, "What's the matter, Georgie? Got your tongue
Yeah, he was big. He was big.
big.
You got Prince Albert in a can?
Yeah.
Oh, you better let him out then.
Wait, hold on. Before you keep watching ReactCAST, I want you to know that I have a show called Sound Advice where we give... What do we do on the show? We take calls from you guys, and I and a special guest give you the most sound advice. It's actually live right now, and I wanted to give you a little preview of what's to come. Check it out.
I don't like pottery, but there is a boy on TikTok called Pottery Boy. Have you seen this?
I think I probably have. I'm more of the pottery girl.
Yeah. Have you seen it?
no, but I'm imagining a shirtless guy
They're
doing that.
like, he is one of the hottest guys I've ever seen, and it's not even my type. But this man, the way that he's fingering
Whoa.
clay,
Yeah.
is something. It does something in every comment, and he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
He
of course.
knows what he's doing.
Absolutely.
It's why he has millions of followers, and all the comments are just like, "Can you do that again?"
Yeah. Jackson, what about you? What's remake you think this is crap?
This is crap.
What made you initially think like they shouldn't do this?
Yeah.
The Lion King.
That's great. That's
The
a
Lion
good
King.
choice. Good answer.
Like,
Good answer.
On the board?
yeah, I just think The Lion King, or most of the Disney reboots, they didn't
Yes,
need to
dude.
happen.
Aladdin.
They, like,
Can we start with this? I had this lower down on the list, but there is, I think, like 12 or 13 Disney remakes that they've done now. Lion King,
Is
Little
it
Mermaid.
really 13?
Let's count.
Okay.
Lion King, Little Mermaid.
That's 5.
Mulan, Aladdin,
14.
Beauty and the Beast, Cinderella,
Back down to
Dumbo,
1.
Pinocchio, The Jungle Book, and Lady and the Tramp.
That's it.
Okay.
Lady and the Tramp?
Yeah. There
Are they
was a
coming
lady
out
that
10? We're at 10.
It happened already.
It happened. It was a Disney
It's on
Plus
Disney Plus and it's
original.
awful.
Yeah.
It's
Awful. I wouldn't even take my kids to
Did you say kids to
I wouldn't use that movie's marketing campaign to wipe
Me and my
ass.
wife, we got married and we had one rule. We never take the kids to
No,
in my
there's
house.
a place to at home. Why would we take them?
The's 10 on there, okay? 10.
Is that counting Cruella?
No,
Cruella
because
was
I wouldn't
good.
call that like
It's
a
more
remake.
like a spin-off.
It's a spin-off.
Okay,
yeah.
fair enough.
I did have
There's a
listed,
Snow
though,
White coming out, though.
There
Did
is
you
a
see
Snow
that?
White, and that looks scary.
It looks like a nightmare.
I just...
Although the Disney movies, I didn't know, like Lion King, it made 1.6
I know.
billion.
They print money.
billion.
They print money.
So obviously, there's an audience.
And they just like they're in a green screen studio, and John Favreau has this
Yeah, Jon
camera that's
Favreau,
like in
dude.
VR.
Yeah.
And he gets to just see everything that's in this, and it's so. And they don't have to build these giant sets.
Nope. Yep.
They just knocked these. Did you fart?
No, there's no way. What if that was what my fart sounded
I'd be like, damn, dude,
Something needs to be
you
taken
need to,
care of.
You need to relax.
Yeah.
Dude, I'd start an
That
OnlyFans,
sounds-
and I'd make a lot of money.
Yeah, we're doing that.
Just all right,
Guinness
guys.
Book of
I-
World Records for that.
I want to shout out to all my subscribers. Thank you. All my the
Joe
dual
host.
camera setup now because you guys have been so good to me.
They have.
But anyways, let's get the show on the road.
Yeah, it's not about you right now.
I don't even know what he's doing. I can't even...
He's fine.
you derive pleasure from it as well.
That's actually not coming out of the butthole.
I'm like where's this magical sound coming from?
You guys haven't discovered your squeak holes?
Each pore can let noise out.
Yep. The Lion King, all these remakes. I
The
think
Disney
it's
ones.
tough for us that grew up with the originals, which were like era and childhood defining for us. So when we see these remakes that are so different, is our immediate reaction. But I do think the youth of today loves them.
They have to.
Well, they can also go a different way with them. Like with The Lion King, they made it super realistic. They can make it look realistic, but still cartoony, you know?
Well, because they're talking, and you're like, well, animals don't talk. So you're right. Like, that's the cartoony part. But
they don't tend to do that. Yeah,
they don't tend to talk these days. They stopped at some point.
They stopped it back in the 80s.
It was Harambe. It's because of Harambe.
That's definitely 100%.
I know. Rest in peace forever, our boy Harambe.
Do you think, though, then the youth watching the new Lion King feels this, like in 20 years, are they going to feel the same way that we do about the animated one?
Not even close.
You don't think so?
No. Like, see, the thing about animation is that you can convey so many emotions through such a uniquely drawn piece, as opposed to something that is CG, where you can't really tell the nuances in their facial movements and really connect with a character on the same level.
Yeah.
Well, also, like, what didn't it feel like the movie world and the world in general was just smaller when movies like The Lion King initially came out, because the internet wasn't this thing where you were like connected to everyone in the world. So when something like The Lion King happened, it was like a big deal in your little town, in your little group of friends.
Yep.
And I think, like, you know, you got Elton John involved, and you got like all these voice talents, and it drew people in a way that like movies weren't drawing people in yet. And like, you know, as a star power, and you know, and Disney being the powerhouse of like family entertainment that it was at the time.
And that was the peak.
I think so, man.
It went Little Mermaid, and then, okay, this is big.
Yeah.
And then they hit Beauty and the Beast. We're like, this is getting better. And then Lion King was the top of the mountain. Like, that was the peak of their rise.
What about Pixar?
Well, Pixar, exactly. That's what I was going to say. Like,
Imagine
Pixar came along, and they were like, yes!
Yeah.
The new secret formula to get people in here is like computer animated shit. But really, the truth is that it was the people in charge, the storytellers, the people that had things to say. I think I don't know. There's just there's not that many people with like something that they really want to say. I feel like.
I think there's still the people. I think the opportunities might not be there.
They're not.
They're not given the chances anymore.
We're into a formulaic.
Really
we're into a formulaic studio system now that, like you said, mitigates risk as much as possible. That's why I loved I forget who did it, but the Oscar speech this year of the guy that won for writing. Forget who it was. Sorry, apologies. But he went up there and he was like, let's not do $30 million, $100 million movies. Why don't you just bust all that up and let's do...
Oh, I remember this.
Let's do 15, 20 smaller movies with big ideas and more stories, which I totally agree with, which for me mitigates the risk in a different way, because you're taking more shots as opposed to like, oh, we're going to spend this much and it's going to tank like The Crow.
But I think that, you know, it's easy to go down the doom spiral of like how studios are ruining art or whatever. But I think the truth is something similar to what Joe is saying, which is like and what that guy said at the Oscars or whatever. There's this middle ground that's like creatives with studios like A24 that are taking big chances with small budgets, and we'll have those movies. Yep. We'll have them.
See,
They're
that's what's
coming.
so cool about A24. A24 is taking all of these risks, but because the budgets are so small, it's not a risk on the company as a whole, you know?
And it works overall because they just... But there's a certain... It seems like they're really choosing these projects. They're not just going like, let's just make everything. Yeah. It's like everything is a unique, interesting, fun idea. We've got this new Tim Robinson, Paul Rudd movie coming out that A24 just bought. Yep. And the buzz is incredible around this movie. No
Tim
plot.
Robinson. I was thinking of someone else.
Yeah, Tim Robinson, the I Think You Should Leave guy.
Yeah.
55 burgers, 55 fries, 55
Yeah, people are saying that.
I'm doing something.
Right? I'm doing something. They're saying that this is like an I Think You Should Leave sketch in movie form with Paul Rudd.
That's crazy.
And they're like, there's no plot to speak of, and people were laughing hysterically every 3 minutes.
Damn.
Dude, this is what I'm hungry for. I'm starving.
Yeah, totally. I do want to get into one, because I know this has a special place in Steve's heart. It's Ghostbusters.
I do love the Ghostbusters.
And I am a little curious, because I have a weird relationship with Ghostbusters. And again, I've known Steve and Joe for a while now, and I've been kind of in the back seat of my opinion on Ghostbusters.
Because if you don't have, it's not a part of your childhood, really.
Not at all. Okay? So that's why I'm wondering, Jaxon, what do you think about the Ghostbusters?
In general, I think it's a very fun, very likable property in general, you know?
Are you a big fan of it?
I wouldn't say I'm a big fan. I did grow up with it, but I wasn't too invested. You know, like it's just a fun time.
Okay,
you know? I think I was a little scared of it because I watched it like really.
It's Ghost.
Did you watch the original like first?
I was scared.
Okay.
Of it.
Well, yeah, I think I watched it when I was like eight,
Dang.
7. You know, so I don't.
that'll get
To be
you.
fair, I don't think I remember it like as well as I could.
Okay.
But it's fun movie, super fun movie. But I was scared out of my brains when the guy from Little Shop of Horrors turns into a demon.
I know. You're like, that was a nice guy. Now he's not.
Oh, he's not nice. And what's he doing to that other dog?
What's the deal with that really hot lady? What's the?
And your parents weren't throwing it on all the time.
No.
So Steve and I
Or
grew
was it
up-
on TV all the time?
Yes, we were in the generation where if we didn't see it in the theaters or our parents weren't throwing it on, we would just be channel surfing. And it would be just like, oh, Ghostbusters is on. Gonna watch that. Dang. Your generation doesn't do that at all.
To be fair, growing up, we did have that though.
Yeah.
I think Cartoon Network would just sometimes just play
movies.
You'd have
Yeah.
that Shark Boy and Lava Girl or something.
Love Shark Boy and Lava Girl. That is my
That's their
shit.
Ghostbusters.
That's their Ghostbusters. Yeah. So what if they did a Spy Kids remake?
Dude, they did.
They did?
There's
They did.
5 of them.
Yeah.
But no, not sequels.
Yes.
Remake.
Yes.
They did a remake?
Yeah.
New cast? And
Yes.
Oh, man.
And then
was it
they-
upsetting?
Not egregious. It was still fine.
There's some
I mean-
really bad visual effects in some of those early ones. Those
Don't you
thumb
be
guys.
knocking. Don't you be knocking
But
Spy
you
Kids
know,
3.
But you know, like those thumb guys. What are those thumb guys?
That is what they're called.
They're called, I'm pretty sure they're called Thumb Thumbs.
Thumb thumbs.
All right, get it right?
But you know, that's not the best visual effects.
Right.
It's funny because like I
You
think
gotta
even
pull up something. We gotta look into
even
this.
in the moment of watching that as a kid, I knew it was bad.
But you don't
loved
care.
it.
Yeah, you don't
I
care.
loved it.
Look, listen.
what, when,
Joe
where,
and I
and
watched
why.
a lot of 80s stuff that looks pretty horrible right
Yes,
now
it
to
does.
this day.
Yeah, they are Thumb Thumbs.
There he is.
No, the best one is Spy Kids 2 with Steve Buscemi.
Yes.
You know the line. Do you think God stays in heaven because he too is afraid of what he has
Oh,
created?
that's right. That's right.
That's from
One
Spy
of the
Kids.
best lines ever.
Yeah.
Seems a little heavy for Spy Kids.
That's the idea.
For Robert Rodriguez as a person.
Ghostbusters.
Back to remakes and
Back to-
Ghostbusters.
Ghostbusters.
I'm
Get the
curious
job
though,
done.
because Ghostbusters rebooted in 2016.
Yes, it is.
Yes.
Like
Oh, did it?
30 years later.
I'm unaware of that.
When this was announced, right, we got an all-female cast. It's a complete reboot. What's your gut feeling?
What was your gut feeling when it
Well,
happened?
I was equal part disappointed that we weren't getting like a dedicated sequel to the OG
Right.
With the 4.
with the 4 because they
Yep.
were all around still,
They
I
were.
think, including Harold Ramis.
Yep.
And not as old as they are now.
Not as old as they are now, and one of them's gone now.
Yep.
Rest in peace. And I remember being kind of disappointed because I'm like, these guys aren't getting any younger. So if they're making like a whole new franchise, then we're done, you know? And the whole thing was that Bill Murray was like over it, was not going to do a Ghostbusters sequel anyway.
Yeah.
So
He's a crotchety old man.
so
anyway,
that right, and that's all I ever hear about it. And so the other side of the coin for me was okay. So even though the disappointment of not getting another continuation of the OG Ghostbusters isn't happening, at least we're getting a Ghostbusters thing,
Right.
And the fact that it was an all-girl cast to me was like great. You know, Ghostbusters was a guy thing, wasn't it?
Totally.
And most of the boys were into
It
that.
was very intriguing at the time, especially with the cast.
It
of the
was
project.
intriguing.
awesome.
They were all at the top of their game. Paul Feig, I think, was on the other side of Bridesmaids, so he was one of like the biggest comedy directors
Yep.
at the time.
Yep.
Trepidation is a good word.
Exactly.
Like interested, curious,
yes.
worried that it wouldn't be like the others.
Right.
But it didn't need to be. But, you know, there's
Still.
not a great track record up to this point with,
No.
with remakes.
But I remember thinking too that it was like unfair, all of the like discourse with like you can't
that
have a
was
girl
crazy.
Ghostbuster,
Yeah.
and it also like
They just
you
have
know
to make it work.
right, and yeah, it doesn't matter who's the cast,
Exactly.
you know,
Give me a good story, baby.
and that's my feeling too, and there was so much evil, awful discourse.
This was right around the time of like
woke culture,
the fappening.
Oh
my gosh, you're right.
And it was like the kind of dawn of this woke culture thing that that isn't bad. Being woke isn't a bad thing.
Anti-woke culture. That like the pendulum is starting to swing both ways at this time, and that like the people online, 4chan, like that subculture was up and running.
Well, because it was like girls can't be Ghostbusters, and it was all these like
Well, that's in the Bible.
That is in the Bible, but the Bible isn't an instruction book.
That's true. We should.
God created the heaven and the earth and the Ghostbusters.
And the Ghostbusters. But because of the gross discourse, there wasn't an argument about it that you could have without being said like, oh, you just don't like women.
Yeah.
And it was like, but what if it's just a bad movie?
Yeah.
Like, and no one, so you couldn't even talk about it in a negative way at all because you'd be lumped in with all those gross incels that were like, oh, you can't have girls be Ghostbusters. So it was like
It just makes me so mad. It made me want to snap into a Slim Jim.
It made me want to snap into a Slim Jim, rip my shirt open.
Ooh.
You go through a lot of shirts.
And it was upsetting, but I was with Joe. I was curious because, again, tell me what's wrong with wanting to bring Ghostbusters to a new generation,
right?
To let the girls have a chance at being cool Ghostbusters, and to make it like a modern comedy. There's nothing wrong with any of that.
Can totally
go
work.
for it.
Yeah.
Yep.
And unfortunately, it sucked.
It was a big old whiff.
It sucked.
Steve, even tell him about the Twinkie.
Oh, God, don't get me started about the Twinkie. Don't get me started.
Damn it, Jaxon.
I want to move on.
Wait. I know you want to move on, but
I want to talk about it.
I do want to touch on it for a second.
Okay.
I did not hate Afterlife. I enjoyed it.
I didn't hate Afterlife either.
I didn't see it. I didn't see it.
The reason a lot. It's got a Spielbergian take on Ghostbusters. I think it was what you were saying that the other one didn't do was bring it to a new generation. I think it did. You put Paul Rudd in it. He feels like an 80s actor that would have been in the original
And
Ghostbusters.
Just overall, Paul Rudd is amazing. And I saw this. I remember seeing the trailers for it, and I was really interested. But this is around the time. I think this is like 2020, right? Where people
it came out in 2021.
Yeah, so people weren't really going to movies. I didn't really care to see movies at the time. So I mean, Ghostbusters Afterlife. It looked. Just from the trailers, it looked cinematic and it looked good.
You should check it out.
It did.
You should check it out. It's truly a touching, homage.
They handled the Ramis stuff
very well.
I think perfectly.
Probably
Really?
the only way you could have without it. Borders on cringe.
Yeah.
But it's done so lovingly because it's the son of the guy that made the original one.
Yeah. Yep. Yeah.
And there's a love for Ghostbusters for someone like that we will never know because it's your dad's movie.
Yep.
And his dad had passed too at the time, I thought, by the time it came out.
And it shows that you can make a good remake because I would consider it a remake.
Really?
Yeah, it's 100% a remake. I think.
Well,
Sure.
sure.
It's
to an extent,
It's an in-between.
It's connected.
Technically a sequel, but I hear you.
Yeah, 100%. But it also threads the line of what people were complaining about with Ghostbusters 2016. Boys and girls are being Ghostbusters in this.
And they're young.
And they're young.
Yeah.
Yep.
You get the Finn Wolfhard in there for all those Stranger Things fans.
Yep.
We can move on now, Kevin. I'm sorry, but I will say Frozen Empire was not good. All right.
Oh, I thought you did. You thought it was not
It was
bad.
fine.
Okay, it was fine.
Nothing.
You know what it is? It's like an AI movie.
Oh.
It's like
Meaning plot-wise?
type in a plot, type in what happens, and then that's what you get.
Okay. You think they'll do another one then?
Yeah.
Okay.
I think
there's
it didn't do great.
There's an animated one coming, animated Ghostbusters series.
They're trying to keep it alive.
They'll do
I don't
anything to
mind
keep
it.
They'll do anything to keep a franchise alive.
They
to
will.
be fair.
Listen, this is what I say about remakes and reboots and whatever. This pertains to the whole thing, not just
Totally.
Ghostbusters. For me, it's like if there was something I loved as a kid that ended when I was a kid and never came back, that's like a nightmare. When you're a kid, all you want is more of a good thing, right? So if there's Ghostbusters Forever, it's what the little kid version of me wanted.
Yeah.
More Ghostbusters.
Yeah.
More Beetlejuice. More whatever.
The Crow.
So we
Just
want
do it good.
but just do it good.
Just do it good.
I mean, I'm the same way with Lord of the Rings. When the Hobbit series came out, and
I didn't mind it. I liked the
but
Hobbit.
I was
love
like,
it.
this was the greatest thing in the world that was happening. I was
Yeah.
watching all the behind the scenes, everything. just to be able. Remember, he would post them.
Yeah.
He posted them on like Facebook or something like that.
Yeah, and you're like, this is great. He's making another Lord of the Rings. We're
it's a
doing
kid
it.
thing. Yeah,
And not to mention, with The Hobbit, I had that. So we had a special TV. We got a new TV at the time.
Okay.
And the TV came with 3D
Yes.
glasses.
Whoa.
And there were certain movies.
Yes.
Certain movies that had the 3D capabilities.
Yes.
And one of those movies was the original Hobbit.
Yeah.
Well, not the the remake of The Hobbit.
Yeah.
And so I would watch it with my dad with our 3D glasses. It was a little, it was like
incredible.
gimmicky, but it was awesome. And
Yeah.
because of that, we got into The Hobbit.
Yes.
And The Hobbit gets talked shit on like
It
crazy.
does.
I thought it was pretty decent.
I like
you know?
them.
totally decent. I
And then
agree.
later on, watching The Lord of the Rings, just being mind blown
Yeah.
at everything, it still holds up fantastically.
crazy.
So,
Okay, next one I want to hit, and I actually just finished part 2 nights ago.
Ooh.
Dune.
Fresh on the brain.
I honestly, I have not seen Dune.
None, like no Dune ever.
Is
Not
it because
no Dune ever?
you don't don't want to fall asleep? Because that's what happens to me with Dune. That's a snooze fest.
Both of them? Come on.
See, for me, I forgot that it was a hype movie. You know, like like one of those movies where it's like one of those blockbuster hits that like everyone was like, "Oh, Dune? Of course I know Dune. I'm gonna watch this. Like watch part 1." And I'm like, and I never knew about it. Apparently, it was big and people loved it. And then when part 2 came out, everyone was talking about it. I'm like, wait, where was this hype coming from? Excuse me?
The first one is
It's
more of a
because
cult
it's-
classic, I think.
But the thing, well, he's talking about the first of the new ones.
first of
He's
the
not
new
even
ones.
talking
Oh.
about the OG
The
one.
OG, yeah.
Which, by the way, sure, I think there is certainly an old classic Dune fan base, but maybe about as much as like the Hobbit book fan base.
Or
You
the
know,
animated Hobbit.
Or the animated Hobbit,
one of
which,
the
by
best
the
things
way,
ever created.
we love it.
That's what Bilbo Baggins hates. That's what Bilbo Baggins hates. So carefully with the plates.
But so with Dune, it was like, you know, of course you got your Zendaya,
Yeah.
and you got your
Timothy
Timothy
Actually
Chalamet,
pronounced Timotei.
Timotei, and you know
Holl.
that's all it had to be. But that's where all the love is coming from because it's got Zendaya and Timothy Chalamet.
You think that's where the love's
I think
coming
initially,
from? Okay.
yes.
Well,
When the
that's how
thing is-
movies work.
When the first one came out, yeah, but like
star
you know,
power.
if that movie had unknowns,
Oh, you're right.
I think it would have been just
Better.
a little bit better.
I agree, dude.
Because I can't help but see Timothy Chalameting in every
yeah,
scene,
in everything he does.
Zendayaing in every scene.
Yeah. Mhm.
I can't. I think Zendaya is great, but every time I see her, I see Zendaya. I don't see
get
the
you.
character she's playing.
Yeah.
and I can't not see her just being Zendaya.
That's how I feel about Timothy Chalamet. I think in everything that Timothy Chalamet is,
He can't help it.
He plays that skinny white guy.
Yeah.
You know? He
Yep.
plays that in everything.
Yes.
In Wonka, I didn't think he fit in Wonka. I didn't think he fit in.
The French Dispatch. You see that?
Oh, yeah.
He
French-
really stood out on that one. It's that Wes Anderson.
Yeah. I wanted to see that one, but I never did.
It's pretty good, but it's not his best.
Yeah,
Okay.
like just most of the things that Timothy Chalamet is in, I can't not see him just as
I agree, dude.
himself.
Yeah, but
You
like,
guys just hate pretty people.
He's not that
You
pretty.
guys are
no,
that
I
pretty
love
one.
Jennifer Connelly.
You guys are pretty people racist.
No,
He is a perfectly
I don't
average
see-
white guy. Okay,
I don't see.
You're confusing it with Thin Wolfhard.
Well, I mean,
That
if
is
it
my
walks
point,
like a
Joseph.
duck, it talks like a duck.
It's gonna be a duck.
What if we found out they were ducks?
Holy they're ducks.
What?
the whole time.
New Mighty
the
Ducks.
one-
Mighty Ducks remake.
Look. Shut up. Look.
Eric, shut up.
I agree with what they're saying. Like I think they're young and they're going to get their chops. They'll get there
For sure.
As far as the movies go, the first one was a bit of a snooze fest because it's like political drama. And
I
you
love
don't know
it.
the characters, but I think upon a second watch, I liked it more.
Yes.
The second one's really fun action
Yes.
movie. What I really enjoy about it all, and this is coming from somebody who hasn't seen the original, and I should watch it. I don't know if you have, Steve.
boring.
Is it boring?
So boring.
I mean, even the worms riding the worm scene in the first one is like pathetic
yeah, but show
looking.
them get off of the worms in the new ones.
That's true.
How do they get off?
That's
the
true.
fucking worms?
They just
had
did
like a
barrel
whole town of people on them,
Riding worms.
and we never saw them get on.
You're right.
How did they get the old people on there?
It's very true.
Yeah, because what he went through to get on it.
Yeah,
in the
how
first
did they
place.
Yeah, everyone had to do that.
I mean, they must have to park them somewhere. Yeah.
Wait, they what's it called? You're saying a whole village rides a worm?
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
Oh yes, they do.
They relocate on a worm.
and it's silly.
Oh.
It's a little silly.
What I really appreciate is from, I think the directing would have made this movie big anyways.
Oh, he's great. The director's
Because
great.
this director is so good.
He's a visual director, which is
Yes,
very good.
at creating scale. I've never
you.
seen somebody
Sure.
make things look massive and just over the top, but also real at
Yeah.
the same time.
Yeah.
His playing
Grounded.
with scale is insane.
I think my issue with Dune as a whole, very quickly, is that everything that happens in Dune was ripped off and done in Star Wars and Star Trek and Game of Thrones and every drama you've ever seen ever.
Yeah.
Like Romeo and Juliet, all that stuff. Like it's all like the book is fantastic,
Yeah.
whatever. I've never read it, but I know it's fantastic. Everybody loves it. It's a good book, right?
Right.
But the movies are just like a rehash of these themes and concepts and stories that we've just seen in everything already. Like if you've seen Game of Thrones, you know what Dune is.
Damn.
It's like a hierarchy of different houses all trying to get control over everything.
but then we got to get ahead of the comments, and they're going to say Dune is what inspired Game of Thrones.
Exactly,
They are.
and I understand that.
Yeah.
And I think that it's unfair that that's the
How it went
how
down.
it
Yeah.
goes
Yeah.
for Dune, because if this version of Dune came out before Game of Thrones, before all these like, houses all fighting each other type shows, movies or whatever, I think I would have felt a bit more refreshed. But I will say, visually, gorgeous films.
Absolutely.
Gorgeous looking films.
I do feel like I'm on another planet.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah,
for sure.
Which is pretty cool. I will say before we move on, resident Dune lover Julian here at
Yeah.
React
One of our tech guys.
stands for Dune 1984.
It's so boring.
More than any of the others.
See, to
so
be fair,
boring.
I've seen clips of it. It looks interesting.
Visually, yeah.
Because it's like that 80s dark fantasy. Was it like 70s?
There it is
70s
right
or
there.
80s?
It's got Lynch as the
I think
director.
it's
Suits look similar.
1983
Yeah,
or
1984.
something.
That guy looks like Timothy Chalamet.
Look at how he gets onto this worm, okay?
It's so much bigger. Here than in the
Have
just
you not
run-
seen this?
No.
Dude, look at this.
This worm isn't as fast.
Nope.
Nope.
I will say it still looks interesting, though.
There he
Did
goes.
it.
Yay.
Little less action packed than
400 Timothy Chalamet's.
that's a lot of Timothy
done.
The
Chalamet.
little
did it.
Timothy that could.
Okay. Would you rather talk about Willy Wonka
or
and Charlie or Jumanji?
Oh, I'm both really close to
I
my
know.
heart.
why don't we try to get through them quickly?
Okay. Jumanji.
Not as good. It's fun.
I think definitely not as good.
But it's still a fun movie.
Because of Robin Williams, right? Because Robin Williams made the original good.
Dude,
Yes.
honestly, it is him alone that
I
makes
know. I
that
think if
movie.
you take him out, you're like,
David Allen Greer is pretty funny.
Well,
in it.
yeah.
for sure.
Who's he
but
again?
he's not in it very
He's the
much.
cop.
the cop, yeah.
The
he
cop
was
that's like,
great.
Like every 5 minutes.
His facial.
Oh, he's the best.
We should have got more David Allen Greer.
We should have.
You know? This may be controversial. I think they're equal.
Whoa.
I think they're
What?
the Jumanji movies. I think they're different.
Excuse
extremely
me?
different takes. I think the Jumanji remake is so fun.
good.
It's so charismatic. Every single cast member in it
That's
is
true.
hilarious.
Yeah.
Gives an amazing performance. It's
It's a fun new take
is
on the
fun
Jumanji
and
thing.
watchable and engaging from start to finish.
I agree.
And it made The Rock actually funny.
Yeah.
Because he's usually just The Rock.
Yeah.
But like
Yeah.
everybody is
Everyone's
so
good.
in it. And I wanted to revisit those characters again. I liked that they brought them back in the
Welcome
second
to the
one.
Jungle.
Yeah.
Or what was it called? Was it called Welcome to the Jungle? Or
Yeah.
the
The
first
second one.
Not as good as the first one,
Welcome
whatever.
to the Jungle
but
was the first one.
first.
Yeah.
I think they are equal in watchability. I really do.
Here,
Actually, yes. So
You're talking about
equal in
one.
terms of
You're talking about the original,
The original,
and then the new one,
and then the new one.
Okay.
yeah.
Yeah.
I do agree that like in terms of watchability, I think maybe the new one kind of overtakes it only because speaking from just a young guy's perspective.
Yes.
I've seen people my age being like, I don't want to watch the old stuff. You know, like
Yeah.
just
Sure.
specifically, like even though. Actually, I don't think it holds up as well. Like the CG's a little bit off.
Oh, it's pretty
Things
bad.
are a
Those
little-
monkeys look awful.
Yeah, but just I think the old Jumanji, because I grew up with it. That's why I have such like
got
a
a soft
nice
spot.
attachment to it. I love Robin Williams and anything that he was in.
Yeah.
Just absolutely anything that he touched turned to Robin Williams Jesus gold,
Except for Flubber. Am I overstepping with
yes,
Flubber?
you are. You're overstepping.
People love Flubber.
I started
They love
watching
it.
Flubber recently, like literally a couple days ago. I'll stick with it. I will. I promise. But man,
I'm mad dogging you
but
right
it's
now.
not
I
as
love me a
magical.
Flubber.
It's not. There's no magic initially. In
Flubber's
that.
also
He
a
is the
remake.
magic.
Is it really?
I mean, we
Flubber's a
love.
remake.
Listen,
You didn't know?
No.
Did you know?
What?
Flubber's a remake?
What?
Oh yeah,
Yeah.
of the absent-minded professor.
Yeah.
Oh, so different title.
Jerry Lewis.
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay. Dang.
It is a
See,
remake.
maybe-
Also, it does fit in with this.
Maybe Flubber was the friends we made along the way.
Maybe the real Flubber was the friend.
So
I'll stick with it, but I'm saying, Robin Williams, and listen, I have a love for Robin Williams that goes deep, dude.
Yeah.
We're rooted in here. And
You guys kissed once.
Well, absolutely we did. And it was,
didn't know it was coming.
It was passionate. Yeah, well, he was sleeping.
Yeah.
But
As you do.
You gotta go for a sleepy kiss with some of these celebrities because they're, they don't want.
It's the only way I've been able to kiss a celebrity.
I know. And anyway, but the original Jumanji is very Spielbergian. You get this kind of
Yeah.
like Spielbergian family magical kind of hook feel to it.
A lot of
it still has
emotion.
that
lot of
late
emotion.
80s, early. Is it late 80s, early 90s?
It's like 90s.
Mid-90s.
95.
Mid-90s?
Yeah, mid-90s.
I feel like it still has that kind of darkness to it.
Yeah,
That's what I
it
love.
does.
You know,
Yes.
as opposed to the new one where it's just fun upon fun upon fun.
Yes.
I feel like in the first one it had stakes.
Yes.
a little bit more.
Yes. There was danger because you were like, well, there's no one's here to help them. And in the new Jumanji, they've got that video game thing where they could really die, which
Yeah.
I thought actually worked
You die
pretty
in the game,
well.
you die in real life.
Yep.
And as they got closer to losing their lives, I remember thinking that was those stakes are good
Yeah.
and real.
Yeah.
Yep.
But it never felt as kind of scary and dangerous as the original Jumanji. But Joe, it's crazy to think that I'm similarly on the same level, where
Yeah.
it's the original is here, and the new one is here.
So
Yeah.
close.
Yeah. It's a good movie. It just is.
It's good.
I think it's one of the most rewatchable movies.
I think you're right.
That has come out in the last
Yeah.
10 years.
Yeah.
I've watched it a lot because my kids
Love it.
And we love Reese
And have they
Darby, too.
have they seen the original Jumanji?
Yeah.
Okay, but they would choose this one way over that
100%.
one.
What
Yeah.
about Zathura?
Dude,
you guys
thank
like
you.
Zathura?
Thank you.
I think it's underrated. That's a John Favreau.
I know.
That's
that
John
blew me
Favreau.
away.
Wait,
Wait,
what's his name?
John Favreau?
John Favreau.
It is a John Favreau.
Oh, Mr. John
I don't
Favreau.
remember who's in it.
Josh Hutcherson.
The chef. The
Tonight's special is the John Favreau
That John. Would you like this John Favreau?
or the escargot.
Josh
Hutcherson.
Yeah.
He's the one from the Hunger Games.
Yes,
the one
sir.
that did the pie, the fucking dirt mask.
Tim Robbins.
That's the stupidest shit.
See,
Tim
that's
Robbins.
the thing. He's I hate to burst your bubble. He's actually from the Five Nights at Freddy's movie.
Oh, that's right.
He's from the Five Nights
That's
at
where he's
Freddy's.
from.
Kristen Stewart also was the sister in this one.
Stewart.
yeah.
Star power.
Dude, Zathura
Dak Shepard.
Oh yeah, he was like a
The
space
spaceman.
guy.
Yeah.
Dude, Zathura
Zathura.
I love Zathura. Nobody else like.
And I think it also was scary, and there were stakes. It was
Yeah.
they're
That
in
scared me.
space.
Yeah.
That scared me.
They're in space. Where are they gonna get out of space?
You die in space. You die in
They're
real
good,
life.
they're good.
Dude, also, the analog game.
Oh, that was awesome.
cool. Where you turn the key and it pops out a
know.
card.
See, that's what I
Love
kind
that.
of missed about the new Jumanji. I get it; it's a video game or whatever, but they should have had
The board game.
board game in some.
You die in
capacity.
the board game. You die in real life.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I've been saying.
I heard you. All right, Wonka. Hit us, Kevin.
Willy Wonka and the Chocolate Factory, 1971. I think we can all say
None of us were born yet.
none of us were born
Well,
yet.
maybe you
true.
guys.
No.
I definitely was.
No.
If you would have asked me what year I thought it was made, I would not have thought that early.
Early 70s.
I would have thought 70s, but not that far back.
And then Charlie and the Chocolate Factory, which was,
Oh God, that Tim Burton.
and then honestly,
bad.
That was a real fart this time.
Mouth fart.
I think. Okay, can I tell you what I think is the problem with Charlie and the Chocolate Factory?
Yeah.
Johnny Depp's performance.
Absolutely.
I liked it, but I would not consider it as a contender for a good Willy Wonka.
Exactly.
I thought it was just like,
And apparently he was testing out all sorts of different things on the set, and Tim Burton was like, "That's the one." They're like,
Oh, wow.
Tim Burton.
Blame him.
Yeah, guys.
Yeah.
Hey, guys.
Oh, wow.
Yeah, you want some chocolate?
Yeah.
I'm like, dude, no, that's not how you do it.
Instead of giving like a whimsy and just like a cool Willy Wonka, it gave like kind of pedophilic, you know?
Yeah, a little bit, dude,
You know,
little
I never
bit.
grew up, and I'm going to use that as an
Predator
excuse.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very Predator vibes.
Which I didn't even think about Wonka. Like, that was also, I guess, a
never
reboot.
saw it.
I never saw it either.
Is it a reboot or is it? It's a prequel.
You're right.
There's chocolate.
It's a
And there's
prequel.
chocolate.
I didn't know there's
Willy Wonka makes you.
Oh, it's like a musical.
It is a musical. They
Yeah.
didn't even market it as that.
Because it's bad. Did you see it, Jackson?
I've seen bits and pieces.
Okay, that's how
and
I am.
I'm also.
It's
No. First off, that is not Willy Wonka.
I did, and it's
That is.
forgettable. I don't remember a damn thing about it.
It just came and went.
It also had that singular Oompa Loompa that's an asshole. What's his name?
Huge Grant.
Huge Grant.
It's the only impression I do well.
Hugh Grant in real life these days is a very funny,
he doesn't give a
self-deprecating celebrity that doesn't get. His interviews are amazing.
He dogged on this movie.
Yeah, he was like, I think it's ugly and awful.
Yeah.
And he's like, at one point they wanted me to be naked. They wanted the Oompa Loompa naked. And he's like, this is gross.
Yeah.
just thinking of a naked
I
Oompa
know!
Loompa Hugh Grant, just like.
Right? Here I am.
Yes,
oh,
yes,
I will.
Yes, I ate my penis.
Yes, yeah,
Well, the Oompa Loompa in Charlie and the Chocolate Factory was former porn star Deep Roy.
That's right. We love
He
Deep
was a
Roy.
porn star. Oh my god, I love.
That's not full, That's not fake news,
I
right?
actually don't know about the porn star.
Hold on.
His name was Deep Roy.
But Deep Roy
need-
is still around, and he's been in many movies. He was in Neverending Story.
Deep Roy.
I might be. I might.
I never heard the porn part.
I don't think he's a porn star, dude.
Who are you thinking of?
Shoot, no. I just have dreams about him.
You just wish he was in porn. You want him to have an only
Deep Roy. I can imagine
Sorry,
him.
Deep Roy.
I can imagine Deep Roy on a porn set being like,
I swear to God.
Right?
Let me go to 4chan for a little bit. I'll be right back.
Yeah. You'll be there. You'll get there. I will say this, though. Even though the music from the original Willy Wonka cannot be beat,
It's unbeatable.
the Danny Elfman stuff in the new one.
true.
I kind of like some of it. Like the little Loompa Loompa songs. Like there was the one that was
Yeah.
like the Veruca Salt song, which
Yeah.
is like kind of a bop, actually.
Yeah.
Well, Danny
yes,
Elfman,
actually,
I mean,
yeah. And then there was, what's it called?
Augustus Gloop,
Augustus Gloop. Yeah.
and nincompoop. Crack the dish, just crack the plates.
I think specifically I do like Willy Wonka's performance. I don't think it fits the movie, but I think seeing Johnny Depp do that stark of a difference from his normal personality
Definitely.
is super interesting.
Yeah.
I love
Yeah.
that about it.
Some versatility there, I guess,
Yeah.
is always nice.
Yeah, it's just the starting point for that movie was impossible. They were like 600 yards behind the starting line because
Right.
Gene Wilder's performance was
Unbeatable.
it's so iconic and unbeatable, and there's been nothing like it. And it's warm and it's scary, and you don't know what you're
And
going to get.
commanding and fun. And
Yeah.
He's got
He knows
crazy
how to
eyes,
change it.
but
He knows
there's
how to change
warmth
it on the
behind
audience.
it.
Yeah.
And that song is in our
pure
souls
imagination.
The boat song, yeah.
forever. The boat song.
Yeah, that was,
Well, for people who
I
don't know.
cried. Oh.
it's just like a timeless classic.
Not to mention, it's my mom's favorite movie of all time.
It's a good favorite movie.
His performance is so subdued. Like you think about it and you think it's like he's this big thing all over the place because his energy was there. He's barely moving. Everything is so calculated. You
Yeah.
think about him singing that song and then there's the little skip.
Yep.
Little
Yeah.
move. Like it's just brilliant. He
And I
was a
love
treasure.
it, like that. You know, the kids are like essentially dying
They're
in his
dying.
factory, and he's just like,
You
I
know,
guess we're gonna have
not
to
my
get another-"
problem.
Yeah. Well, all right, let's call
Clean
someone
up
over
me,
to clean
and you'll
this up.
see.
I think I saw like a video essay about his opening when his first introduction, and that almost like gives away his entire personality.
Where
his
he trips,
entire-
right?
Yeah, and he comes out looking like a
good.
well, we all
like a
know the
cripple.
story behind it, right?
Yes, we do. It's a
It was
classic.
improvised.
Well, it wasn't improvised. It was he demanded that moment would be in the film or he would not.
Oh, I didn't know that extreme.
He was like, I need to open it up, and the first time you see him, I want to limp out and I want to do a somersault. And he's like, if I don't do that, I won't do the movie. And he wanted that so everybody in the audience would not know what to expect
Which
from
that's
the
what
guy.
we're talking about. Yeah.
From the start.
Yeah. So cool.
Come with me.
I really wanted to get to it.
Let's just get to it.
In a world of
Planet
OSHA
of the
violations.
Apes.
Planet of the Apes?
Planet of the Apes.
Oh,
Joe, I mean,
I'm about
Steve
to.
is-
Joe and I are about to throw fists.
Steve has a tattoo.
Right there.
I do. I have
Planet of the
Dr.
Apes.
Zaius right
Yep.
here.
Yep.
It's a bad monkey.
I haven't seen. I haven't seen the 2001. Planet of the Apes.
The Tim Burton one?
Tim Burton.
Another f***ing Tim Burton.
I know.
Get your grubby little like what's it called?
Stinking
little hands.
Stinking dirty paws.
I was trying to do like horror filled hands. I don't know. I couldn't think of anything.
Wait, it's close enough.
Yeah, I really had only heard stories about, like, not stories, but like clips of the original Planet of the Apes, and then Rise of the Planet of the Apes came out, and that was like my introduction.
That was my
whole
introduction.
world.
Those new ones, those new ones are very good.
They're
Yeah.
great.
Surprisingly, and that's like incredible.
The
because
Caesar storyline.
The Caesar storyline is so good, and also like, you know, for me, seeing Planet of the Apes live on and captivate a new generation
And done well.
Yep.
is all I could ask for. You know,
I've
'Cause-
only seen the Rise of the Planet of the Apes.
Oh,
the first
really?
one.
Did you
haven't
see
seen
James Franco?
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. I don't think I liked it at the time, but I've seen clips of the other ones and seeing where they took it, and I thought that was really cool.
Yeah, you should check those out. They're like really good emotional stories that have like awesome action sequences.
I think the trailers don't do them justice
I
at
agree.
all.
You have to just see
You
it.
have to see it, yeah.
The thing, the thing that I didn't like about it was at the very end when they did the plague. And that freaked me out.
Oh, and how it was like everyone's dying and showing you.
That freaked me out. You know,
but they had to get that out of the way so they could get to the like true Planet of the Apes stuff. So like the apes are running things. But you know, the original series is, to me, even though some of those sequels are pretty bad, like you know, Conquest for the Planet of the Apes, and Beneath the Planet of the Apes, which is the second one. They're very dated. They're 1960s movies, and they're very, you know, there's not much money thrown at them, especially as they continue on. But the story is it's one of the only cyclical
Interesting
stories that I've ever seen, where the first one and the last one connect like perfectly.
Dang.
And I think that is such a fun, cool sci-fi concept.
Yeah.
That really, even though they're not all great, brings that whole series together as like a really awesome sci-fi epic.
Correct me if I'm wrong. Planet of the Apes is your favorite movie.
It is. The original Planet of the Apes is my favorite movie.
Steve
How
and
old
I
were you when you watched that, Steve? Around.
No, I must have been pretty young because it scared me. Like
did.
The monkey masks are like kind of scary looking. And the fact that it's like uncanny, the closest to Uncanny Valley before CG, because you're like seeing a human face, but it's an ape face, and it's like it's effective, you know, even though it is a fake mask, it's still effective because the actors underneath the masks,
they have to convey more.
They're amazing, like Roddy McDowell,
A lot in the eyes,
one of the classic actors. It was played Cornelius in the original Planet of the Apes movies, and he's just an incredible actor. The acting shines through the mask.
Yeah.
And look, I know it's boring. There's a lot of boring movies from the 60s. The pacing, the timing, whatever, is a little different than movies now.
Steve and I have went with the fisticuffs on this.
We have fought in the past about. Joe says it's a boring movie. It is. It's like a courtroom drama, sci-fi.
I love courtroom dramas.
We love a good courtroom drama.
You guys ever hear about this thing called The Social Network?
Oh, love it.
Great
love
movie.
You guys,
you know what would make it better?
great
If they
soundtrack.
were apes.
Oh my God! Make every movie, but we'll make them apes.
No, I'm not gonna argue with like all its legendary effect on movies and where
Especially that ending.
The ending.
The ending's the
that paved
coolest
the
twist
way
ever.
for twists.
Twist ending, great lines. Heston.
Yeah.
Like it's.
Rebecca did hair.
I can't actually not make this face.
Yeah. And there's like 4K versions of Planet of the Apes.
Really?
And I'm telling you,
I bet you
it was not meant to be seen with such clarity. It is gorgeous, but Charlton Heston is very obviously wearing a hairpiece.
Oh.
And you can see it, brother. It's bad.
Give me 360p or nothing.
Right? I know. It must be seen on VHS on a tiny CRT.
And I will contend with you, Steve. There is something about the masks and the costumes that I contend now still kind of plays.
No, I know.
Yeah.
It
I
really
agree.
does. Even though the mouths barely move, like
Right.
it's still good.
It's one of those things where it takes like a few minutes. Like once you see it, you're like, what am I looking at? But then like halfway into the movie, you're already in it. You're like, these are monkeys. These are apes.
Yep. That looks good. That's good makeup.
Oh, it looks great.
A lot of jaw movement, it looks like. A lot of,
And they talk about how they had to over-exaggerate.
Oh, I bet.
exaggerate everything.
Really disappointed we didn't get some monkey banging though. I thought Charleston
know.
Heston and
You have something
There
you want
is
to
a
tell
kid-
us, Joe?
There's a... Yeah,
title?
Joe.
look, they just set it up emotionally and they didn't pay it off. I just wanted to see it.
You know, that I can agree with, you know?
There is a kiss, though.
There
there's
is.
there's a kiss that happens.
It's awkward as hell.
Between a human and a monkey. And he goes, Dr. Zira, I'd like to kiss you. And she goes, well, all right, but you're so damn ugly.
The 2001 then.
Yeah, we
Planet
love
of the
Andy
Apes.
Serkis. Oh, the Tim Burton one.
The Tim Burton
I don't
one.
think I
'cause that's
know anything
the
about
remake.
this one.
Dude, that's what I was thinking. Like this gone from everybody's radar.
Can you pull it up really quick? I want to see what
Yeah.
it looks like.
It's so bad. Helena Bonham Carter.
I mean,
and
the
Tim,
apes are very similar. It's Mark Wahlberg.
Michael Clark Duncan.
Oh, he looks like, what?
That's Helena Bonham Carter.
Yeah.
And that's Tim Roth.
Yep, Tim Roth played the villain.
Which I was like, Tim Roth playing an ape in a Tim Burton. Dude, I'm telling you, when this movie was coming out, I was like all about it. A Tim Burton
Really?
Planet of the Apes sounded so awesome because this was the first time Tim Burton did something like this.
Like
where
a
he used
big studio
A big
movie.
remake studio thing, taking an original story. And I think, who's Paul Giamatti's in it?
Paul Giamatti, yep.
It's a really cool cat. And in fact, Charlton Heston plays like a dying
Wait, he
elder
does?
ape
Yeah.
in it. And it was like his last movie ever. Is this the end of the movie?
Yeah, this is the end.
Dude,
So the end is-
yeah, you think he's like, I found a way. He's like, all I gotta do is get back in my spaceship and fly into this like vortex and I'll get home.
Yeah.
And so this is what happens. He gets home and he's like, I'm home. I'm finally home.
And he goes to the. Why does he go to the?
He goes to the
Capitol,
Lincoln,
or the Lincoln yeah.
Memorial.
That's where you go.
He goes,
What are you talking about?
He goes to the Lincoln Memorial and he's like, I'm home.
Oh no! Here we go. What do you see?
Damn you, Walter!
Oh no, it's Abraham Lincoln.
Abraham.
It's Abe. So, and the ridiculous part about it is like, wait a minute. So,
Where did you go?
wait, yeah, where did you go? Because you went somewhere where human history was exactly the same, but they're apes? Get out of here with this
What a timeline!
I'm actually. I'd hate watch that. I'd be really interested to hate watch that. But also, Steve, you talking about this cyclical? I've never seen any of the original ones.
I know, no one really talks about it.
I might watch it.
You should watch the dude.
Yeah.
Really watch the original.
Yeah.
Get yourself immersed, okay? Don't
might.
miss all the Tim Burton sticking his bony little toes and
Yeah,
everything.
get Tim Burton out of there. Go to the original Planet of the Apes. I'm telling you, in fact, I'm going to recommend this to our listeners, to
Yeah.
our viewers.
Okay.
If you like sci-fi and you're a fan of the Twilight Zone,
Yeah.
things like that, because Rod Serling wrote the
did.
screenplay for Planet of the Apes,
Yep.
Rod Serling of Twilight Zone. And you're like into, maybe some like, racial tension undertones and human civil war type storylines, then watch the Planet of the Apes movies, and especially if you like the new ones. If you like
Yeah.
the new ones,
Because supposedly it's supposed to lead up to.
and it could.
Yeah.
It would be really cool. I would like it. But, there's some duds in there in the classic trilogy, but it's only 4 movies.
Okay.
Can I mention one movie?
Absolutely.
One remake that I thought was stupid. Hellboy.
Wait, which one? Just the OG, the original?
No, the OG.
Or the David
but
Harbour one?
The David Harbour one is ass.
Oh yeah.
Ass.
Yeah. I love the feeling and the energy that Guillermo del Toro put into that original
love
two
that you
movie.
feel.
Those movies are so good.
They're so good.
The second one's awesome. It's like a fantasy, Dark Crystal
Yeah,
Legend
dude.
kind of thing going on.
so cool.
good.
And then David Harbour comes back, and I love David Harbour.
Yeah.
Love him as an actor, but just that movie
So
was
bad.
straight cheeks. Straight.
It was ass
Straight.
dirty
Oh my
ass
God.
cheeks.
Dude, I watched a clip from it. The CG was as mid as you can
Damn.
think.
So bad.
And then the humor is like one-liners, but not done well. It's like, hey, ugly. Like.
Yeah.
Like,
Come on over here, fish breath.
I'm like, but then you have, I forgot who played Hellboy in the first one.
That's Ron
Ron
Perlman.
Perlman. Just the energy and the feeling that it's just so unbelievably unmatched.
Yeah.
Final bring it all together thought. Ron Perlman was bringing it back to monkeys.
A porn star?
A porn star that was also a monkey in the original Space Odyssey.
Are you serious?
One of the monkeys when the thing comes
No
down.
way.
Ron Perlman is a monkey, John.
I knew he was the Beast in the Beauty and the Beast TV show.
Yeah. Isn't that crazy? Isn't that cool?
I knew he was a
Hamilton.
caveman in Quest for Fire.
Ron Perlman? Because you see it right there in your face? You didn't know that. You've never seen Quest for Fire.
I want to see it. One of our people here love
Have
it.
you seen Quest for Fire?
Never
It's
heard
like
of
no dialogue ape movie.
I've
right?
never heard of that in my life.
Not good.
Remake that one.
I want to make sure to shout out our Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music. We're on all those things. We're also trying to get our video stuff up on Spotify, so be on the lookout for that stuff. If you leave a review 5 stars, helps us out quite a lot. Follow the channel. We're still getting this thing growing, but it's growing, and we love to see you guys.
And if you loved this guy's voice, go
Yeah.
check out his podcast, Dynamic Banter.
Yes.
And also weekly, we chat a little bit on the Valley Cast.
Yeah, we do. We have a nice, quiet Sunday
Sunday, we
morning
get up
chat.
right out of bed.
Yeah, it's really
Skip
nice.
church, watch it.
Yeah, we
you know?
catch up on stuff. We
Yeah.
talk with Elliot Morgan
We
and
wipe
sometimes
the
Kevin
sleep
Platt.
out
Yes.
of our eyes, and we go, what did you do this week?
But yeah, Dynamic Banter too is one of Steve's podcasts
That's
that you
right.
might see me sometimes on as
That's
well.
right. You can hear him
Nice.
every episode almost.
Jackson, where can we find you?
Yeah, you can find me on Instagram and Twitch, mostly on Twitch. I try to stream more often now, so I'm trying
Yes.
to keep that going.
What do you like to play?
Actually, so I set it up. The first hour, I do like a just chatting portion
Yeah.
where it gets
Nice.
people in a little bit, and then after I'll play like a random game. Usually,
Nice.
it's I try to do multiplayer games. You know,
What do you like?
Overwatch, Valorant, to
Yes.
kind of like those are the kind of games that if you know nothing about like video games, at least you
Just
can
get in
watch.
and go,
Yeah, get
yeah.
in and go. You know, as opposed to like a story-driven game where it kind of gets a little bit tough to engage if they're like, oh, I missed like the first hour of this.
Right,
you
like
know?
what am I? And then you do another stream. And you're like, wait, I didn't watch the other one. I gotta go to this VOD.
Exactly. So I try to be as active on there as possible. So TikTok, Twitch, Instagram, all Jaxon HH.
Love it.
Simple.
Got it.
Thank you, Steve. Thank you, Jackson.
Steve.
Thank you, Joe.
Yes. Business.
Business, business, business. What about that Terminator cartoon? You gonna watch that?
Fell asleep 3 times already. Oh.
Terminator cartoon?
There's an anime. It's like Terminator anime.
Is it still like the same storyline as it? or
Same
is it-
world.
I think it's the same world.
Yeah.
Same world. Okay.
Same idea, but it's not
They're
like...
coming after Sarah Connor yet again, or John
Sarah
Connor.